Hey guys, it's Brandon again. So in today's video, I want to talk about whether you should or should not invest in Bitcoin. I've been getting a lot of questions about this on Instagram, so I decided that I'm going to do a video about it today. Now guys, before I go forward, I want to thank you for the growth that this channel has been having. We're at 493 subscribers. And guys, thank you very much for that. Now, as I continue, please like this video, because if you do not like it, the video won't get out there. The YouTube algorithms won't pick it up. So like this video, share it, and also subscribe to the channel if you're just now stopping by. Now, should you or should you not invest in Bitcoin? Now, first, what is Bitcoin? Bitcoin is basically cryptocurrency or cryptocurrency, also known as digital money. What that means is that there is no physical asset of a means of exchange. So you know how you could go to your local drugstore. I don't know why drugs came to my mind, but you go to your local store and you can use cash to create a means of exchange. Now, Bitcoin, or this digital currency, is done via online transaction, right? It's an online use for buying goods and services. Now, there are many pros of Bitcoins, many cons of Bitcoins, but there's a few that really stuck out to me, so I'm going to cover those. Now, the first pro is that it's very private. There's so much discretion with using Bitcoin. You can do online purchases and you don't have to really put your identity behind it. So if you want to buy a blow-up doll and you don't want your wife to know, you can use a Bitcoin to buy that blow-up doll. The next thing is that it eliminates a lot of bank fees. So a lot of you know, if you have some banks, not gonna name them, but they charge you these maintenance fees. If your balance drops below a certain amount, you have to pay X amount of dollars. With Bitcoin, you don't have to necessarily deal with those bank fees. And number three, if you do any international business, which is something I do a lot, if you do any international business, the fees get hefty sometimes. These international transactions can become very, very costly, and Bitcoin reduces those international transactions greatly. Now, some of those same pros are actually what's cons of Bitcoin. Now, the whole privacy and discretionary purpose, it now raises a topic of ethics, because people can now use these coins to buy things that are basically unethical. For example, human trafficking, child prostitution, illegal guns and ammo, things of that nature. So it just brings a little bit of question of ethics, and that's why there is such a big regulation around Bitcoin now, because the government wants to see the transactions and where they are going. All right, so those are the things with Bitcoin. Now, because of the kind of investor I am, I invest in value, right? So for example, I did a video recently why I love investing in Apple, how Apple has basically made me rich over the last few years. Now, when I put money into Apple, I can go to sleep. I don't worry, right? When I put money into banks and stuff like that, I go to sleep. I don't worry. Bitcoin, I worry, because it's fairly new. Right? A lot of people have this idea that Bitcoin is going to replace the American dollar, and I don't necessarily think that's going to happen right now, because the American dollar is basically a measuring stick of transactions and spending. The world backs their spending behind the American dollar. Even Bitcoin is measured by how much American dollars it takes to purchase a Bitcoin. So for that reason, I don't necessarily think that it is going to replace the dollar. And back to my point of being a value investor, these companies like Apple, the banks, things of those nature, they produce something. Bitcoin hasn't necessarily produced anything in terms of like a product or service that changed the lifestyle of the world. It's still fairly new. Do I think there's great potential for Bitcoin? Absolutely, because we are now in the era of revolution in tech, and what a time to be alive. What a time to invest, right? So Bitcoin has that potential. And could I be missing out? You know, very, very potentially, and I'm okay with that. But that's part of the reason, but that's part of how you become successful. You have to have investing principles and stick to them. You're not going to get every win in the markets. That's just the fact. It's impossible to get every win. Bitcoin has made a lot of people rich. If I'd stayed in when I got in at $2.50, life would be much better today, put it that way. But nobody's really that good to always know what the future is going to be. Now, this is not necessarily financial advice, but if you want to invest in Bitcoin, go ahead. I personally am not, because of my investing principles and what has worked for me. Until there's more concrete things around Bitcoin, then I might potentially invest again. But for now, I'm staying out of that market. But guys, if you like this content, subscribe to the channel. If you're stopping by for the first time, like and share, and thank you for being a part of this journey. Guys, thank you. Take care.